Hi everyone, and welcome back for another episode in our equipment system series. In previous episodes we have managed to get our character to display on our character sheet, and in the last episode we made these slots for our armour and our weapons down here on the right too. So in this episode we are now going to work on the next feature, which will be adding the slot inventories. So for example, this is the head slot. If I were to click on this, I'm going to have a window pop up which will show all the available head equipment that I have on my person that I can then equip onto that slot. Okay, so it's a bit different from a normal inventory system. It's another alternate way of doing that. So again, we'll be able to click on there, it will show a window, and in that window we have a list of all the items that we could equip, and then you click on one and it'll equip it. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working towards today. So the way this works, we're going to have to first of all make a widget for our inventory. So in our user interface folder, we're going to make a new widget. So go to user interface widget blueprint, and I'm going to call mine slot inventory. And in this inventory, we're going to get rid of the canvas panel, and instead going to use a size box. And the size box, we're going to give a width and height override. So the width we're going to make is a 150, and the height we're going to do is say 300. Click compile, and what we're going to do is change the fill screen option on the top right of the viewport to desired. That way we can see exactly what we're looking at for our list. So now to make the list. So the way the list works, we're going to first of all decorate it with a bit of border action going on here. So let's drag in a couple of borders. So the first one there, I'm going to leave it white. Drag another one in inside that border, but this one I'm going to make a different colour. Keep it grey, same grey as I've been using for everything else, and I'm just going to change the padding here to match accordingly. Okay, so there's my window there, and to do the list you are doing a scroll box. So a scroll box does what it kind of says on the tin really. The more things you drag into it, a scroll bar will appear if it overflows, and you'll be able to scroll up and down it. Okay, so we're going to leave this as is for now. We'll come back to this a lot later on when we start adding dynamically all the items we have available to us. And that's it. We're going to close this, and we now have our slot inventory. So let's do this for the armor slot. So for the armor slot, we're going to first of all change a couple of things here. So currently I've got an image. I'm going to actually now change this to a button because I want to make it easier for the players to click on it, and a button just works a lot easier. So I'm going to delete this image, and in place it put the button. Okay, and button, you can put an image on it. You can just go into normal over here and add an image to it like normal. It's not an issue whatsoever. So this is going to be our armor slot, and when I click on the button I want it to do something. Okay, so with the button selected in your hierarchy, you can scroll down the right hand side in the details panel, and you'll see these events, and you see on clicked, pressed, released, hovered and unhovered. We want the on clicked one, and it will take you over to the graph editor to create the code for your on clicked event for your armor slot. So we'll do a few things here. So let's break it down. First of all, I want to create a widget, so I'm going to create the widget, and I'm going to create the slot inventory. This is going to return a value, and that's going to return the widget we just made. And on this widget I'm going to add it to the canvas panel. Okay, so the canvas panel is this heads up display that we made prior to this video, and that is stored onto the game mode. So let's get the game mode, and to show you that it's actually stored in game mode, let's just show you that. We did it in the beginning, I think we did it first episode maybe. So we did this. Okay, so we've got heads up display, brings us that widget. So the armor slot, we're going to get the game mode, and we're going to cast to that particular game mode. And now we've casted to it, we can access the particular values from it. So here I can get the get heads up display, and that returns the whole widget. but I don't want the whole widget, I just want the canvas panel inside the widget. So if I drag out of here, I can do get HUD, and actually get HUD canvas, which we set up prior to. Okay, with that now done, we can then go up and go add child to canvas. And we can hook that up to the cast, and the content we want to add to it is this return value here from slot inventory. So now we've added the slot inventory to the canvas window. I'm going to promote this to a variable, and I'm going to call it, let's delete my old one that I was testing with earlier, and I'm going to call it the slot inventory and compile it. So let's go through this again. So I click on the button, it's going to create the slot inventory. We're going to get the game mode and access the heads up display of it, and access the canvas panel inside the heads up display. We're then going to add the slot inventory to the canvas. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. And if I click on it, you can see it spawns it in the top right, top left, sorry. So you notice it isn't the right size, it isn't the right location, so we now need to work on that. Okay, so let's go back to our widget editor for our button. So in here, and the event graph. So we've spawned it. We can now set some settings on it. So drag out from the set variable, and we're going to set first of all the position. And the position we want to set is going to be set to the mouse position and slightly offset it. So to do that, we need to get the mouse position. So right click, get mouse position in viewport. And from there, we can add a value to it. And I can slightly offset it by 10 pixels, I guess, like so. So let's now check the position of that now. So you can see they now spawn just to the left, to the right of the mouse, which is excellent. So a couple of things you may notice. First of all, it's the sizing, and the next thing is we also don't want to show loads. We only want to show one at a time. So let's go ahead and go back into our armor slot and carry on from where we left off. So from here, we're going to drag from the slot inventory again and set auto size, and we're going to tick the boolean to be true, and now that should fix the sizing. Yeah. And next thing is to make it so it only spawns one at any one time. So this is a bit more advanced thing to do, because I want it to do two things. I want it so I can click anywhere in the world and dismiss it. So for example, if I click here, it spawns it, but if I click anywhere off of it, I want it to disappear. And secondly, if I click on another button, I want it to remove any other ones as well. So you've got two things to worry about there. So let's first of all do the removing from any other button when we click on it. So when we're on clicked, what we're going to do before we create a whole new widget is we are going to get all of the widgets from a class. Okay, widgets, get all widgets of class. We're going to choose the slot inventory class, and from there we get an array. Now this boolean here, top level only, if you hover over it, it tells you that this will only affect and get the direct children of the viewport. Now that's not going to be the case, because the child, the slot inventory is a child of the HUD. So what we're going to do is turn off that boolean. So this array is a list of all the widgets of that class. Okay, and from all the found widgets, we're going to do a for each loop. So it loops through every single one of them, and then from the array element, drag out and go remove from parent, hooking it up to the loop body. We can then hook the rest of the function back to the completed line, like so. Click compile, go back to the game, click on one button, and then click on another one. You can see it removes the previous slot. Excellent. So the next job is to get it to be removed from the whole entire window if I click anywhere on the window. So this works a little bit differently. So the way this works is I need the game to detect when I click the mouse, okay, not just the widgets. The widgets are limited to their physical space on the screen, okay. So there are some workarounds, like you can put a big invisible button over the whole entire screen, but that's not really that good. So a better method is to use an event dispatcher. And an event dispatcher is basically a shoutcast. So it will shout out when something's happened, and listening objects or actors will then react accordingly. So I'm going to set this up in the player controller. So if I go back to my third person player controller that I had made previously, so that's when we've done our display character sheet. Here I'm going to create a event dispatcher, and I'm going to call it left mouse clicked. Drag the left mouse clicked out and choose call. This will call out that left mouse has been clicked. But obviously we need to attach this to an event, and the event we want is left mouse button. So when left mouse button is pressed anywhere in the game, this will happen. This will shout out. Okay. I then go back into my my armor slot. Sorry. And the armor slot graph, we are going to right click and choose construct. So the construct event triggers right at the start when it spawns in, and from there we're going to set up a listener. So basically tell it to listen out for that particular call. So on construct we want to get player controller, and then from the player controller cast to the particular controller we made, so my controller in this case. And as my controller I can now access all those values and also the bind. So from here I can go bind left mouse clicked. So bind event to left mouse clicked. I now can bind another event to this. So I want to make a new event using a custom event, and we'll go remove slot inventory, and we can make these connect with the red square. So this event will trigger whenever it hears the left mouse has been clicked. And on this custom event we're going to drag in the slot inventory variable, and then from there get remove from no, we don't want to remove, because we don't want to remove this. This is a reference to the HUD canvas. We need a reference to the local one. So after we create the slot widget, we need to store that as a variable. So let me just move this aside from here, and from there, return value, promote to variable, like so. This set becomes then inventory, I guess we'll call it, and the slot inventory then can be removed. So drag inventory out, choose get, and then remove from parent, like so. So now if I test this out, I can click here and click on another one and it will disappear, but I can also click anywhere in the world and it will remove the widget. And you can also apply the same logic to the whole character window if you really wanted to. So I'll leave that up to you. Oh, hang on, we've got an error. Let's check this out. So we've got a problem here saying remove from parent, access none, trying to read property. So remove from parent, I'm guessing it is going to be this one here. So what we need to do is do a validated get check. So right click on inventory and convert to validated get. If we drag that in, it's valid. That will now get rid of that error because it will now check whether or not it actually can be removed. Like so. There you go, no more errors. That'll do for this episode. In the next one we'll start finally adding our inventory items and spreadsheets and so forth, and hopefully get that going in the next episode too. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support me and my videos, please head over to Patreon, and links in the description below. These people have already donated and helped me out massively, so big thank you to all of these people. And if you like my content, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.